Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video that's not typical for my normal content. So if you know me from the internet, you don't have to watch this. This isn't for my audience that I have at the moment. This is kind of me branching out into something I've never really done before. Today I'm going to be talking about a book that I read. I know, a little crazy. It's called Anatomy of the Spirit. We're just going to be diving into the book to really talk about some of the things that I learned, and maybe you can pick up some of the things, and honestly just encourage you to read it. And if you are not a reader, you know, pick up the main points of the book to get a little bit of inspo for the day. So, Anatomy of the Spirit. It is a book written by Caroline Myss. She teaches about spirituality, healing, and personal growth to help people better understand themselves. Myss is a medical intuitive famous for her workshops and talks on these topics. Today, I want to share some of her teachings from her book Anatomy of the Spirit. The root cause of all physical illness is linked to emotional and spiritual stress. Different emotional and spiritual challenges can lead to problems in specific parts of the body. For example, heart disease might be related to blocking out love or intimacy. Lower back pain can stem from ongoing financial worries. And then cancer may be connected to unresolved issues from the past. Blood orders might arise from conflicts within the family, but basically the point is that very little randomly happens in our bodies or lives. Let me emphasize, healing does not always mean physical recovery. Sometimes it's about the spirit letting go of long-held fears and negative thoughts, even if the body is still unwell. Understanding the language of energy can help us gain self-awareness, personal power, and clear intuition. Myss, the author, she uses teachings from Hindu chakras, Christian sacraments, and the Kabbalah's tree of life to explain these ideas. But Myss believes when it comes to the health of our spirits and bodies, we're all the same. Love attracts us all, and anger is toxic to everyone, no matter their background. The teachings she shares are based on universal truths, or what she calls symbolic sight. Before physical illness shows up, our body sends us energy signals, like prolonged tiredness or depression. Traditional medical tests can't measure energy loss, which is why conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome are often not officially recognized. They don't have an identifiable microbial cause. That is because humans are both physical and energy beings. Identifying the energy state of an illness and finding its underlying cause is crucial, but the patient's active involvement is vital for healing. It's not just about recognizing the issue. Taking action is what leads to healing. So what I'm talking about might seem a little bit more confusing. As time moves on, hopefully, it starts to make a little bit more sense. Our spirits are woven into everything we do and everyone we meet. The choices we make in life reflect our spirit and our health. Remember, power is the foundation of good health. Every organ and illness in the body vibrates at its own frequency. Now, this is a bit dramatic what I'm about to explain, but Caroline Myss said she had a breakthrough experience with a man diagnosed with HIV who later became HIV negative. Why? Because he took personal responsibility for his healing and approached his treatment with confidence. His positive attitude and remarkable recovery from a terminal illness led Caroline to ask deeper questions like, why do illnesses develop? What does it take to heal? And why do some people recover while others don't? It wasn't the positive energy that caused them to be cured. But curing is half like of a mental activity. You can't expect yourself to cure if you're just like in a bad mindset, and that's what she kind of means by that. But it was definitely a good foundation for making the proper steps to take accountability for one's health. But many people see such recoveries as miracles, but what does it take to make a miracle happen? Myss believes that our cells carry the energy patterns of our thoughts, beliefs, and overall attitude. She suggests that we can reclaim our spirits from negative attachments through grace. Caroline explains that even if you're a vegetarian or exercise regularly, that negative aspects of your life, like an abusive relationship, a job you hate, or constant family conflicts, can drain your energy and lead to illness or prevent healing. On the other hand, if you are spiritually centered, you can maintain your health with a less than perfect lifestyle. She's not suggesting you neglect your diet or become lazy, but rather these factors alone aren't good enough to ensure your health. While spiritual awareness doesn't guarantee health, it enriches your life, deepens your self-understanding, and creates the best conditions for healing. So the point of the video is, how do you strengthen your intuition? Intuition is a skill you can develop. By learning the language of energy, you strengthen your intuition. But first, let's understand some basics about energy. Everything that's alive pulses with energy, and this energy carries information. Your body is surrounded by an energy field that acts as an information center and a perceptual system. I like to call that our aura. We constantly communicate through this energy field, sending and receiving messages similar to something like a radio station, which operates on specific energy wavelengths. Our emotions impact this energy field in our physical bodies. Energy does not and cannot lie. Your life story affects your health. So in other words, your biography becomes your biology. Emotions are stored in your body and interact with your cells and tissues, but each area of your body emits energy at specific frequencies, and health issues arise when these frequencies are off. When it comes to intuition, trust your first impression, even if it's uncomfortable. We all have intuitive abilities because they're essential for survival, but don't ignore it when it's something you don't want to accept and start convincing yourself otherwise, because then you won't know what to believe. To have a clear intuition, you have to respect your own impressions. If you need another person to validate your own impression, you interfere tremendously with your ability to intuit. You can trust when the intuitive impression is accurate because it'll lack emotion and it'll have objectivity. So face your fear and accept life's pains as they help you grow, and remember that no spiritual teaching promises a pain-free life. So health and attitudes are closely linked. Illnesses often stem from toxic behaviors and attitudes, and it's important to recognize and address these before they become biologically harmful. Now, not all negativity produces disease. To create disease, negative emotions have to be dominant, and what accelerates the process is knowing the negative thought to be toxic but giving it permission to thrive anyway. For example, knowing you need to forgive someone but refusing because remaining angry gives you power. Don't get me wrong, personal power is essential for health, and power issues affect everyone in immediate or internal and external worlds. But be aware of what gives you power, like money, your job, or relationships, because losing these can affect your health, of course, but remember that you are responsible for creating and healing your health. Now, let me emphasize that healing is different from curing. Healing is emotional, psychological, and active, while curing is more passive. You can heal without being cured. Healing involves releasing negative patterns, accepting truths about oneself or life, and using energy for love, self-esteem, and health. Healing is a personal and solo task. You can't heal others' emotional wounds for them. Acknowledge your emotional needs and make choices to address them. Healing requires action. Changing your life can be hard due to existing loyalties, but it's necessary to detach, let go, and say goodbye entirely from draining influences. Find meaning in your challenges and see their connection to your health. Identify what causes you to lose your power and where you feel the loss. So here are some core beliefs for healing. The first one is that all circumstances can be changed in a moment and all illness can be healed. The second one is to be consistent and live what you believe. The third one is that change is constant. Every life goes through phases of difficult change and as well as peace. So learn to go with the flow of change rather than stop it from occurring. The fourth one is to never look to another person to make you happy. Happiness is an internal personal attitude and responsibility. The fifth one is that life is essentially a learning experience, so every situation, challenge, and relationship contains some message worth learning or teaching to others. The sixth is that positive energy works more effectively than negative energy in each and every situation. The seventh one is to live in the present moment and practice forgiveness of others. We make our lives far more complex than they have to be. Really, achieving health, happiness, and an energy balance comes down to deciding to focus more on the positive than on the negative, and to live in a manner spiritually congruent with what we know is the truth. Let's get into the 7 sacred truths. Let me briefly introduce each one of them before we dive deeper into them. The first sacred truth is that all is one. We are all connected with each other and all of life. When we break this connection, like thinking that people who are different from us are less important, it creates conflict within our spirit, which can affect our physical health. The second sacred truth is to honor one another. So we should act with integrity and respect in all of our relationships, whether in marriage, friendships, or work. Everyone in our lives plays an important role in our growth. Even when life asks us to rethink our commitments, we should handle these changes with care and respect. The third one is to honor oneself. This means trusting your instincts, taking responsibility for the person you become, showing self-respect, and maintaining inner strength that goes beyond just physical stamina. The fourth is that love is divine power. Love is the most authentic and powerful force essential for our survival and well-being. While we are naturally compassionate, none of us are born loving ourselves fully. We have to learn it. When we commit to caring for our own emotional needs, we can truly love and accept others unconditionally. So the fifth sacred truth is to surrender personal will to divine will. At some point in life, we all face situations where our own resources aren't enough to achieve what we want. Instead of trying to control everything, we need to surrender to a higher power and let divine authority guide us. And guys, when I say higher power, it can be anything that you believe in, fate, God. Apply it to yourselves. It's natural to want to rid ourselves of any falsehoods we created and to align with the truth. Sixth sacred truth being to seek only the truth. Let go of false impressions. Balance reason and judgment, and make decisions that lead to the best outcomes for ourselves and those around us. We can find true peace by trusting that there is a reason behind every event, even the painful ones, and that good can come from them. So the seventh and final sacred truth is too simple. Live in the present moment. It's unnatural to dwell too long on the past, as it can prevent us from receiving spiritual guidance. Living in the present moment allows us to be open to the guidance that makes sense for where we are now, not where we were yesterday. So now we're going to get into the 7 sacred truths, which the author uses to kind of connect them with the chakras. The first sacred truth, all is one, is related to the first chakra. It's our connection to traditional beliefs through family and other groups that form our identity and sense of belonging. To be a part of a tribe is a primal need, and we are energetically designed to live, create, learn, and be together, to really to need one another. Tribal power and all the issues connected to it are energetically connected to the health of our immune system, legs, bones, feet, and rectum. The tribal chakra represents our connection to both positive and negative group experiences. We're introduced to both truthful and fictional beliefs by our respective tribes and inherit their perceptions and attitudes. To be able to spiritually develop, it's our personal responsibility to retain the tribal influences that are positive and discard those that are not. Our spiritual power grows when we're able to pursue a deeper level of truth by seeing beyond our tribal teachings. Regardless of the truth of familial beliefs, each belief and action has a direct consequence. Because when we share belief patterns with groups of people, we participate in energy and physical events created by those groups, such as a candidate you support winning. Given the power of unified beliefs, right or wrong, there will still be an inner desire to explore and develop our own. In other words, our desire to become conscious. The first belief patterns that we challenge are tribal because our spiritual development follows the structure of our energy system. We clear out ideas from the bottom up, starting with the earliest and most basic. We all need new ideas in order to thrive, and we need to break free of beliefs that no longer serve our personal development. Except it can be frightening because we have to actually accept personal responsibility for ourselves. Moral attitudes that we learn from our tribe, such as loyalty, honor, and justice, are all essential to our well-being. Except those attitudes could equally become toxic when misapplied or taken to extremes. It's crucial for tribes or groups to balance these values with other principles and promote a culture of open dialogue, critical thinking, and compassion to avoid harmful consequences. So now we're going to get into the second chakra, which is called the sacral chakra or partnership chakra. It starts to grow when we're about 7 years old, and this is when we begin to make friends outside of our family and learning to make choices. This chakra affects parts of our bodies like the lower back, hips, and bladder. It's also connected to our feelings about relationships and our need to feel in control of our surroundings. When we're afraid of losing control, it can lead to health problems like pain in our lower back and hips. The sacral chakra helps us know who we are and set boundaries so we can handle temptations like wanting too much money or other things without losing our values. The main lesson of the chakra is to honor one another. This means respecting and valuing every relationship because they help us grow. We shouldn't judge others, but instead recognize their importance in our lives. The sacral chakra's energy is about balance, like yin and yang or male and female. As for most of us, we often get disappointed when we try to control everything, like picking the perfect job or partner. But this chakra teaches us to understand why we make choices. Every choice comes from either faith or fear, and this affects what happens next. We can't control everything, but what we can control is how we think and feel. So if we make decisions out of fear, we might be tempted by things like money or power, which can cloud our thinking. It's important to have faith in positive things because it leads to better outcomes. Our personal values and ethics come from the sacral chakra. These guide our promises and commitments to others. Strong ethics help us form better relationships and attract people with similar values. Power is important in our lives, and feeling powerless can make us sick. We need power to live well, but we shouldn't let the desire for power control us. We should be strong enough inside to handle power without losing our spirit. An example, if you had seen the movie, is like Forrest Gump, because if you have seen the movie, you would know that he had ended up becoming very successful because he stayed true to his values without compromising his spirit. In the end, we can bring balance to our relationships by respecting others and ourselves. It's also important to have a healthy relationship with ourselves, which is connected to the third chakra. The third chakra is the energy of personal power, and it becomes a dominant energy in our development during puberty. It helps us form our sense of self and personality outside of what we inherited. Energetically, it is connected to the stomach, pancreas, adrenals, upper intestines, gallbladder, liver, and the middle spine. Emotionally and mentally, it is the magnetic core of the personality and ego. Illnesses that originate here are activated by issues related to self-responsibility, self-esteem, fear of rejection, and an oversensitivity to criticism. A spiritual goal is to help us mature in our spiritual understanding, the relationship we have with ourselves, and how we stand on our own and take care of ourselves. The main lesson of this chakra is to honor oneself. How we feel about ourselves, whether we respect ourselves, determines the quality of our life. and our capacity to succeed. If we do not like ourselves, we will be incapable of making healthy decisions, and instead we'll end up directing our personal power into the hands of someone else, whether that is someone we want to impress or someone who we think we must weaken ourselves to gain physical security. No one is born with a healthy self-esteem. We earn this quality in the process of living. The entire physical world is nothing but a classroom, and our challenge to each of us in this classroom is, given your particular body, environment, and beliefs, will you make choices that enhance your spirit or those that drain your power into the physical illusion around you? So the author in the book, she ends up retelling the story of a woman she met who was wheelchair bound due to crippling arthritis. The woman explains that the reason why she can live in her own body, given her inability to move due to the arthritis, is because she believed she wasn't even crippled, because she felt that she was far more crippled when she could walk. What sense does that make? Let me explain. After her husband had passed, she was so afraid of being alone, of taking care of herself, that she wanted her daughters near her so she would never have to. Her fears were controlling her so much that it negatively affected her relationships with the people she loved, and she became stuck with her own self-limiting beliefs. And then one of her daughters had convinced her to do LSD anyways, but she had a life-altering event and lesson with an LSD experience, and after that, she never felt afraid again. During her trip, apparently she mentions that an angel had visited her, told the woman a few things about herself, and even told her that she would soon have arthritis, but she couldn't say why. So years later, when this arthritic condition developed, she came to terms that her physical condition is just a way to remind her to never have fear. Now, take what you will with that story. Intuition is not some ability to foretell the future or to avoid what is out of your control, but it is the ability to use energy data to make decisions in the immediate moment. So intuitive sensations signal that we have reached a crossroad in our lives, and it gives us the opportunity to influence the next stage, at least to some degree, through the choice that we make now. The intuition and independence of the third chakra together gives us the capacity to take risks. Except if a person suffers from low self-esteem, they can't act on their intuitive impulses because their fear of failure is too immense. Intuition can only be effective if one has courage and personal power to follow through the guidance it provides. Guidance requires action, but it does not guarantee safety. While we measure success in terms of our personal comfort and security, the universe measures our success by how much we've learned. So as long as we use comfort and security as our criteria of success, we will fear our own intuitive guidance because by its very nature, it directs us into new cycles of learning that are sometimes uncomfortable. Developing self-esteem and spiritual maturity happens in 4 stages. The first one is called revolution, where we start to think for ourselves, find our own voice, and separate from group thinking. This stage is about discovering who we are outside of others' expectations. The second one is called involution. This is where we look at our world and see how well it meets our needs. This stage leads us to think about our relationship with God and our life's purpose. It takes courage to honestly assess our lives and make necessary changes. The third one is called narcissism, which is, I know, a familiar word for many of us. This is where we focus on ourselves to build a strong sense of self. But sometimes this involves changing our image, like getting a new hairstyle or clothes. And though the term sounds negative, this stage is important for developing a healthy self-identity. The fourth is called evolution, and this is where we maintain our principles, dignity, and faith without compromising our spirit. This stage is about internal strength and shows true self-esteem. Developing self-understanding, independence, and self-respect is not easy. It requires letting go of old habits and self-images to grow. Remember, our bodies thrive when our spirits thrive. Living with self-esteem gives us strength and reveals our intuitive abilities naturally. Life challenges are opportunities to grow. We can't control everything, but we can control how we respond. By respecting ourselves and trusting our intuition, we can navigate life's obstacles with courage and grace. Your journey of self-discovery is unique, so embrace it with an open heart and remember that every experience, good or bad, helps us grow. As you build your self-esteem, you will find the strength to follow your intuition and create a life that truly reflects who you are. Now we're going to be getting into the fourth chakra. The fourth chakra, known as the heart chakra, is all about emotional power. It guides our emotional growth by teaching us how to act out of love and compassion. The strongest energy we have is love. This chakra is connected to our heart and parts of our body like lungs, arms, and chest. Symbolically, it helps us let go and let God. When we release emotional pain and stop needing to know why things happen, we find peace. To do this, we must embrace forgiveness and let go of the desire for revenge. The third chakra is about the physical world, but the fourth chakra focuses on our inner world, our thoughts, attitudes, and inspirations. Love is a divine force. Unconditional love is the purest form of love, and even though we aren't born knowing how to love fully, we spend our lives learning it. Love affects us deeply. It can motivate us, heal us, or even hurt us. Many life challenges like divorce or losing a loved one are tied to lessons in love and can even lead to illness. We often hear that we must love ourselves before we can truly love others, but the idea of that can be hard to grasp. Sometimes we show self-love by indulging into things like shopping or trips, but that's connected to the third chakra. The energy of the fourth chakra is about listening to our heart's true emotional and spiritual needs. Our hearts often guide us to heal the wounded child within us, which is the part of us that holds on to emotional pain from our past. And unfortunately, these old wounds can influence our adult lives in negative ways. For example, like a fear of an abandonment as a child might turn into jealousy as an adult. But healing begins when we stop letting this wounded child control us and when we live in the present, not the past. Forgiveness is key to healing. It means caring for ourselves enough to forgive those who hurt us so we can move forward without carrying old wounds. To better understand your emotional self, ask yourself questions like, what do I love? What makes me happy? What are my strengths and weaknesses? These questions can help you explore who you truly are, but they may also lead to necessary changes in your life. Healing starts with addressing emotional pain. Our entire approach to medicine is evolving to recognize the power of the heart. So the book provides detailed steps of how to heal, but the author's words capture best. In summary of it, truly understanding and loving yourself is the key to happiness. Self-awareness may require changes, but embracing these changes will lead to a more fulfilling life. Remember, love is divine power. Now let's get into the fifth chakra. The fifth chakra, known as the throat chakra, is where we surrender our personal will to a higher power. Whether you believe that to be God, fate, or something else, this is what I mean when I had mentioned divine authority. Spiritually, you might say we place our trust into the divine. This chakra is connected to our throat and areas like the thyroid, neck, teeth, and mouth. Emotionally and mentally, it deals with the struggles of understanding the power of choice. Every illness can be linked to the fifth chakra because choice plays a role in every aspect of our lives. The lesson of the chakra is about the evolution of our will. We start by believing that others have control over us, then move to thinking we control ourselves, and finally, we realize that true power comes from aligning with a higher will. And this idea can be scary. It might feel like we have no control over our lives or fear what a higher power might want for us. But these fears are the biggest challenges we face when trying to become more conscious. But this concept also brings strengths like faith, self-knowledge, and the ability to make decisions with confidence. The sacred truth of this chakra is that every choice we make and every thought we have is powerful. Our thoughts and actions have consequences that affect our bodies, our environment, and even the world. Personal power lies in our thoughts and attitudes, and being honest is crucial for healing. Without honesty, healing can't happen. Making decisions out of fear rather than faith can lead to negative outcomes. Our faith and our ability to choose are powerful tools for creating our lives. We are tested to see what motivates our choices, whether it's faith or fear in a higher power. While our personal power has limits, we are meant to wonder if a greater force is at work in our lives and to ask questions. When life feels out of control, that's when we might be more open to guidance that we previously ignored, and this can lead our lives into unexpected directions. However, we might also be afraid that surrendering to a higher will means losing the things that bring us comfort. We may end up inviting this guidance in, but push it away when it starts to feel too real. But let me emphasize that surrendering to divine authority doesn't mean losing physical pleasures. It means letting go of illusions and gaining wisdom by not judging and facing our fears. Trust that everything happens for a reason, even if we don't understand it right away. Things like confession can help us reclaim our spirit from the consequences of our choices, because it's a way of acknowledging that we become aware of a fear that once controlled us. Holding on to negative events and beliefs harms us mentally, spiritually, and physically. By confessing, we take responsibility, learn from our mistakes, and free ourselves from painful cycles. We heal when we overcome fear and replace it with a stronger sense of self. We often struggle whether to follow our mind or our heart. Phrases like "follow your heart" suggest one should dominate, but when the mind and heart aren't balanced, problems arise. If the mind leads, we may suffer emotionally and see emotions as the enemy. Then if the heart leads, we may fall into illusions. Either way, decisions based on fear rather than security cause harm. You might think it's hard to make decisions using both your mind and heart together, But that's not usually true. Often you know what you need to do but are just too afraid to act, which can lead you stuck. Change is scary, but waiting until you feel completely safe only causes more internal struggle. The only way to feel secure is to embrace change and come out stronger on the other side. The greatest act of will is to live by these rules. First one is to make no judgments. Second one is to have no expectations. The third one is to let go of the need to know why things happen. The fourth one is to trust that unexpected events are a part of a spiritual plan. And the fifth is to have the courage to make the necessary choices, accept what you can't change, and have the wisdom to know the difference. So now we're going to get into the sixth chakra. The sixth chakra, also known as the third eye chakra, is all about our mental abilities and wisdom. It challenges us to open our minds, break free from false beliefs, and learn to follow our inner guidance. The chakra is connected to the brain, nervous system, and senses like sight and hearing. It's the chakra that leads us to wisdom, which we gain through life experiences and learning to detach from fears. The key lesson of this chakra is to seek only the truth. And I know we've all heard of the word detachment, which I'm about to be discussing, but let me emphasize that detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It simply means to let go of fear-driven thoughts. Life is full of change, and it's important to remember that new beginnings always come after something ends. Being conscious means living in the present and understanding that things will change tomorrow. We can influence our future, but we can't control everything that happens. Detachment also means realizing that no one else determines your life's path. When change comes, it's often because of a greater force guiding you. Here are some steps to help you develop a clear and open mind. First one, practice introspection and become aware of what you believe and why. Second one is to keep an open mind and notice when you're resisting new ideas. The third one is to recognize that being defensive is a way to block new insights. Fourth is to see all situations and relationships as having deeper meaning, even if you don't understand it right away. Fifth is to be open to receiving guidance through your dreams. Sixth is to let go of thoughts that cause self-pity, anger, or blame others for your problems. Seventh is to make decisions based on wisdom, not on trying to control outcomes. The eighth one is to avoid making judgments about people, situations, or even the importance of tasks. Remember that you can't see all the details or predict the long-term consequences of your actions. The ninth is to notice when you're being influenced by fear and work to weaken that fear by making choices that counter its effects. The 10th is to let go of the belief that success is about achieving specific goals. Instead, see success as the ability to stay in control of yourself and work through life challenges. Think of success as an energy, not a physical achievement. The 11th one is to trust your inner guidance without needing constant proof that it's correct. The more you demand proof, the less likely you are to get it. And the 12th is to focus on the present moment. Don't dwell on the past or worry about the future. Learn to trust what you can't see more than what you can see. Becoming conscious isn't easy. I'm still learning. But it's simple. Just let go. Let go of how you think your life should be and embrace the life that's trying to emerge. Things may not turn out exactly as you expect, but they will turn out how they should, according to a higher plan. Our memories and attitudes shape the quality of our lives and our relationships. When your awareness shifts, you might feel lonely as you try to adjust your new understanding, and I have to remind myself of this, but new companions will always come into your life. No one stays alone for long. Okay, so we're going to be getting into the final chakra, which is the sacral chakra. I actually had already talked about it, and I even did my outro and stuff like that, but I just realized that my battery had died in the middle of me talking. So I'm back, and I'm going to be saying it again. So it's new to you. This is the second time for me. The seventh chakra, also known as the crown chakra, is all about our connection to the spiritual side of life. It's linked to the central nervous system, muscles, and skin. This chakra is the source of spiritual insight, vision, and intuition that goes beyond our everyday awareness. The energy of the seventh chakra pushes us to seek a deep connection with the divine in everything we do. But this kind of spiritual connection is different from being part of a religion. So I guess in a different way to put it, according to the author, religion is a group experience focused on protecting the group from physical threats. Spirituality, however, is a personal journey that helps us overcome our fears of the physical world and build a relationship with the divine. The key lesson of this chakra is to live in the present moment. Our purpose in life is to see through our illusions and discover the true power of our spirit. We are responsible for what we create, so we must learn to act with love, wisdom, and a desire to serve others and all life. The author goes into so much more detail about the seventh chakra, but if you're interested, I recommend just reading the book, because while it is fascinating, some parts might feel unsettling if you're not ready for them. But regardless of what you learn from this, I just want you to remember these 7 sacred truths of the body and the spirit. The first one, all is one. Second one, to honor one another. Third one, to honor oneself. Love is divine power. Surrender personal will to divine will. seek only the truth, and live in the present moment. By using these truths as guides, you can understand where you might be losing personal power and how to reclaim it. By recognizing which truth you aren't following. Through this self-reflection, you'll be able to develop the ability to read energy and sense intuitive guidance. Building the skill requires daily practice, of course, but simply being aware and committed to learning from your experiences will help reduce your fears and strengthen your spirit. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to really say about this book. You will learn so much more than just of what I have spoken in this video by reading it. I truly do recommend it. I plan to do more videos on just basically talking about books that I read. I'm personally really into self-help books, but if you have made it to this point of the video, thank you so much for watching. Please comment like what you've taken in the most from this video, like what kind of was like a, oh, this hit type of moment. I want to hear about it. Other than that, I mean, yes, I think I'll be back with another one of these. I don't know. I really don't even care if this video does well. I genuinely just enjoy doing this, but I do hope that you guys enjoy it as well too, for those that do care to listen. All in all, just of course I gotta say it, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys so much. You're the best. Bye.